So I received an email from an individual. I don't know whether they're a subscriber or just a person that just goes around looking at different videos. But that email read, St. Nicholas Brand, why do you always do videos in your garage? And my response to that individual is that it's a peaceful place. I know it's not the prettiest joint that you've ever seen, but it's a peaceful place. I get to, step away from a lot of the noise, and I really get to give as much energy and direction as I can, towards the people that watch the videos. So there's no real, beef or nothing. I just thought that, we just needed to clarify that. But the title of the video is, Are Jobs Designed to Keep Us Struggling? The thing about jobs is that they're too connected to the fact that jobs are supposed to rescue you. Jobs are supposed to save you. Jobs are supposed to escalate your social class to the next level. I think jobs are highly underrated, I believe jobs are highly overrated. Let me say that again. Jobs are highly overrated in the sense that you shouldn't really dictate your life based on a job, because I believe people were placed upon this planet in order to do great things, or in order to follow their greater purpose in which they must find it. And jobs are actually in the way of that. Jobs are it's like a box, right? Like you have jail and prison, which is also like a box, four corners, roof, and then the flooring. And then you have, kind of in the same sense, the same thing. Only difference is that you're compensated for the work that you do. But the problem is that the word job has a different etymology based on people that actually understand what it really is. Like job, if you take J-O-B, you get just over broke, right? And if you take that analogy and you kind of dive deeper and you think on a higher level, just over broke, it just shares with you information like, this place that I call a job is just paying me just enough to keep me around. A job is paying me just enough in order to continue paying the bills every 30 days. I believe that a job is fit for a society that keeps people conformed and following suit right behind the other person. It's not that you can't have a job, and you have to find a way to make an income. But this job, this thing that was placed upon society was not fit for the narrative of the human being. I believe a job has been considered a modern form of slavery, in a sense. And I don't really want to put that with slavery, because slavery was the nastiest situation that humankind has ever seen. But a job has a resemblance of that, because every day you must go to a specific building to do a job, to work. And you must stay there an approximate amount of time, or you must suffer the what? You must suffer the consequences. Like, you just can't go to the job and be like, all right, man, I did a couple of hours, man. I did what I had to do. My job is done. I'm about to get the hell up out of here. It don't work like that. You have a set schedule. You're supposed to be here from Monday to Friday. You got to be there from 6 a.m. to 3, or from 9 to 5. And if you don't follow that system, then more than likely, you're gonna get fired. So there's consequences behind that. Now, when you find yourself doing something and receiving a discipline or a consequence behind it, it's more of a deeper meaning. How can you enjoy something when there's consequences behind it? So if I work and I decide that I don't want to work, I just want to do my job and leave, I get disciplined for that. Or let's say you don't get disciplined and you leave the job early. Well, then now you're not going to get paid nothing because you didn't complete a certain amount of hours. And then that's going to affect your day-to-day life, and that's going to affect you being able to pay your bills. So you guys can understand that a job has a structural system keeping you placed into a box of consequences. So you are not able to think outside that box because you're so worried about getting there on time, doing the right thing, because outside of that box, there's a level of consequences, right? And what they say, consequences and repercussions. You guys remember that? And that's all you really think about, because on this side of that box of consequences, you have, I'm not going to be able to pay for my bills, pay for where I stay or live. On the other side of the box is, I can potentially get written up for the last time, and then I could be terminated. So, like I'm telling you, you don't have any brainwidth power in order to think about anything great, because all you could think about is the job. All you could think about is the consequences behind the job. And that's where everybody gets, mixed up, right? They can't really express how they feel. They can't push out the ideas and the business that they want to do, or any of that. And I mean the majority of people. I mean, yeah, you got a few 1 or 2% that knows what's going on and are practically born into a situation. But I'm talking about the majority of people. They just can't figure that out. So they stay and they keep working and working and working, because what? They fear the consequences outside of that box that they're in. Right? And then after you understand that, you say, all right, well, shit, what am I supposed to do? You may be, up in age already. You may be, 50 something, 60 something. And you just like, hell, man, I didn't already been here for, down there 30, 35 years, 40 years. Shit, I might as well just keep doing what I'm doing. Because you also have to realize there's no ending to a job. It's an ongoing process. Because nowhere in the books it ever said that, man, you get to work a job for 5 years. You get to work a job for 10 years, 2 years, 3 years. No. It's you get to work the job until you die. Let me say that again. You get to work the job until you die. Yeah, until you're expired. And then what happens after that, right? you're done, you're dead, and they just find somebody else. They just put somebody else in that place that you've been there for 40, 50 years. So like I said, it's never been a structural object or a structural way of society, like in order to benefit the people. Like I said, it has a lot to do with the remnants of slavery. But you got to think on a deeper meaning, like how you're listening to this video right now. Getting the idea and a perception on what I'm saying, understanding that I'm not just saying this just to say it, but having the wherewithal to understand that this is the truth. You are, when you first start out school, right? And school is the beginning of a structure in order to get you ready for the job. The school is like the pre-job. Remember, you start school, you do all the things that you would typically do at a job, but you start in your public schooling or your private schooling. They're both the same. You start out, go to school, you get a little break. After the break, what happens after that? You get you a lunch. After lunchtime, you may get another little break. And then after that, it's time to go home. Now, there's no real significant difference. You get up, you get in your car, you go to work, you get that first initial break. After that, what happens? You get your lunch, then you get that last initial break. And then what's after that? You get to go home. It's a box. And on the side of the box, there's consequences. Don't you ever leave out of that little box. Jobs have been eradicated and placed here, purposely and designed to keep the average person, like the person watching this video, struggling. Because as you can see, there's many people that work a job, and they work a job upwards 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 some odd years, and they still have the exact same amount of money that they've always had. J-O-B, just over broke. I appreciate you guys for taking a listen to this video. Hopefully you got an idea. Hopefully you got a message on what I was saying. My name is St. Nicholas Brand. Until next time, peace.